I'm doing a new thing. It's called FLTPK.
A 5, 6, 7, 8.
I want to make art, and just because the world is acting crazy doesn't mean I stop being an artist. I'm an artist, and that's who I am.
I want to make art.
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 It turns out that artists all over the world are in the same boat as me. They just want to create art. And so it gave me this big idea. Why not create an online subscription service so they can deliver these world premieres that they're creating directly to you in your home? You may be wondering at this point why it's called FLTPK. Well, FLTPK furniture is furniture that comes delivered to your house in a very affordable way, stacked in individual pieces. And then when you get it home and open it up and you put it all together, life is breathed into it and it becomes a part of your life. So in that same way, this FLTPK dance is delivered to you in this, square computer monitor that comes into your house. But through the excitement of something that's brand new, it comes to life. So for as little as $1, you could get exclusive access to this work and be a part of an online community that loves art as much as you do.
I'm doing a new thing.
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 I am doing a new thing.
I'm doing a new thing.
I'm doing a new thing.
My first contribution to FLTPK was a piece called Who Am I Here? And I gathered dancers, Chun-Wei Chan, Karina Gonzalez, and Sievert Lawrence Garcia. They were all dancers who were there in Houston on layoff, and we worked on these solos.
Nice. So when the COVID festival first began, one of my first thoughts was, here I am in Houston, Texas. I had just finished making this piece for Houston Ballet that never got performed, sadly, because the Worthing Theater closed down on opening night. It was heartbreaking. But I was thinking, gosh, all these dancers are here in the city wishing they could dance, and here I am wishing I could be making things. So I started to have these ideas about putting together little film projects. So I started contacting different friends and different collaborators. And one of the first people I went to was my friend Jim Dooley, who's an incredibly talented composer. I met him when he and I were working on a project for Walt Disney. And we have been, ever since that project, talking about collaborating on something together, but then life happens and you get caught in the whirlwind of doing other things. So I reached out to him.
I've always wanted to write a piano sonata, but I never have. So let me sit down and write one of these pieces, and I'll send it to you, and then we can go from there. When I started writing one of these pieces, I realized I am not Prokofiev. So I went back to my film scoring roots and decided that I would write a piece which I would call the Impossible Sonata. And what makes this impossible is that it's not able to be played by a human being. It's going to be computerized piano music where repeated notes, fast passages are just going to be beyond human ability. And I thought that there would be lots of beauty in that and lots of tension, and that I can layer these pianos over and over again without having to think, okay, what can you do with two hands?
The idea of impossibility was really intriguing to me, and him writing an impossible sonata, something that one person, potentially would not be able to play, and how this moment in history also felt like an impossibility in a certain way. Like, it's so out of the realm of our thinking, and it's so terrifying for so many people to think about, how do I live my life? And so, his approach in using technology to solve the problem of an impossibility was really inspiring to me. And I also thought, the music within that still sounds really hopeful. And it speaks to possibility and what you can do with the prospect of impossibility. And so an idea built around that, and I had this thought to work with different dancers on different solo pieces that might reflect different aspects of how to deal with this new life. And when you have this trajectory of being a dancer that looks one way, what those feelings are when all of that is turned on its head. The first person I spoke to was my friend Chun-Wei Chan. We had just finished working on Pretty Things for Houston Ballet, and had just gone through this really intense, what's I think a very intimate relationship in making a dance. To not have a performance was just different, you know. It's just a weird feeling, disappointing, but not all bad feelings. It was more like we wanted that energy to continue. And so, you know, I started talking to him first about putting this solo together.
We were in Houston, both of us, and we wanted to do something that's creative. Like both of us, it's like we are not those people that it's okay to just sit in the couch and then watch Netflix the all day long, play games. We would prefer to do something that you know, is productive and could bring people together, both the founder, the dancers, the musician, and the designer. And then yeah, and you just took in the charge, and it's such good work that I think you come up with idea in 2 days, and I was like, yes, hell yes, I'm in. And yeah, and then we did it.
So I ended up getting an Airbnb in this area of Houston that I didn't really know that well, but it was close to a new theater venue called the White Oak Music Hall, which is an indoor and an outdoor music venue, and you know, like all theaters, was sitting empty. And you know, I had this thought about a dancer or a performer going into a theater space and considering you know, an activity that really depended on a large group of people, not having that large group of people available anymore, and what it would be like for a dancer to occupy that space. So I reached out to them to see if they would be into it, and thankfully, without any hesitation, they welcomed us into the space.
It just seemed like a timely piece, something that was really interesting, and for us, it's always been about finding whatever uses people have in the venue. We build the space out. It's upon others to try to figure out what they can do with it, and us to try to help them out in any way we can.
For all of these solos, I created movement sections one at a time, perfected it, and then filmed it, and then went on to the next, which is really different from how I might normally work in the studio, which is, you know, to do that process, but get to the end and then have it performed as a whole piece. So I think there's something very like present and active about seeing dance in this way, and seeing movements that have that are brand new to a performer. It has this almost feeling of like they've just thought of it in that moment.
I was very nervous when I read your email. I didn't think that we have actually a one-on-one moment together. So first I thought, of course, I'm not in any kind of shape to dance. Also, my perfect ballerina was waiting for a choreography that I needed to learn. And you say, no, we will work it together. So the day of it, I was not sure what to expect. Then being in the room creating with you felt like a perfect therapy session where all my nerves, doubts, uncertainties, and even happiness finally came out of my body.
So the only thing left at this point, once I had captured all the footage with the 3 different dancers, was to make the edit. And it was actually a really easy edit for me to do because as I was filming, you know, it wasn't actually pre-storyboarded. I was constructing shot by shot, usually pretty much in order. And so I really just had to put those pieces together because they already had this logic in my mind. The piece is called Who Am I Here? Because you know, so many of the discussions I was having with dancers was really around like, okay, if I don't have all the things in my life that define the person I am, if I don't have a dance company, you know, if I don't have a stage or a studio to dance in, who does that make me? You know, am I still that person if I don't have all the things that make my life as I understand it? So am I still a dancer, or am I somebody else in this moment? So those were some really, you know, fulfilling and great discussions to have with people, and such a unique moment in history. And so hopefully part of that really fed into and was part of the content that makes this piece what it is.